The strange egg. He found in the wreckage. The sky was dark when Reed's escape pod crashed into the alien jungle. Fire burned around the wreckage, and strange animal sounds echoed through the trees. He stepped out, limping, holding his side where a sharp metal piece had cut him. The air was heavy, filled with smoke and the scent of flowers he didn't recognize. Reed was the only survivor. His ship had been hit during a scouting mission near the edge of known space. Now he was stranded, on a planet no one had mapped. His suit's AI called it unclassified. That meant no help was coming. He moved slowly, trying to collect anything useful from the broken pod. Food rations, a working blaster, a damaged medkit. As he pulled off the last metal panel from a crushed storage crate, something caught his eye. A small glowing object sat under a pile of debris. It was a smooth oval shape no bigger than a football. The surface shimmered with green and blue swirls, and it pulsed gently, like it was breathing. "What the hell?" Reed whispered. He picked it up carefully. It was warm. Alive. At first he thought it might be a rare energy crystal. But then it moved, just a little. A soft tremble as if something inside had shifted. Reed stared. "Is this an egg?" Suddenly a voice behind him said, "Drop it, outsider." He spun around. 3 aliens stood there wearing bone and leather armor, their skin dark purple and eyes glowing yellow. One of them held a spear. The tallest one, a young woman with sharp eyes and a golden band across her forehead, stepped forward. "That is not yours," she said. "That egg is cursed." Reed held the egg tighter. "Cursed? Why?" The warrior woman frowned. "It was left behind by sky demons. Our elders say it brings death. We buried it. It should not be touched." Reed looked at the egg again. It didn't. Seemed dangerous, fragile maybe, lonely. "I don't believe in curses," he said. "I'll keep it," one of the alien men growled. "Then you'll die with it." But the woman raised her hand. "Let him be," she ordered. "If he wants to keep the cursed thing, let the curse take him." With that, the aliens turned and disappeared into the jungle. Reed walked back to a small clearing near the pod. He built a fire, placed the egg gently in his thermal blanket, and sat beside it. All night he listened to strange howls in the distance, watching the egg glow in the firelight. In the morning he heard something. A crack. He leaned close. A thin line appeared on the shell. Then another. Then a web of tiny fractures spread across the surface. He held his breath. The shell broke slowly. A small head poked out. The creature was slimy, weak, and shaking. Its eyes were closed, its skin was pale gray with faint glowing lines. It made a soft, chirping noise. "Hey there," Reed said gently. "You're alive." The creature opened. One eye, a deep silver eye that reflected Reed's face. It tried to move, but its legs were too weak. Reed gave it a drop of water from his canteen. It licked the water eagerly, then curled up in his hand, shivering. He wrapped it in the blanket and held it close to his chest. "You're not cursed," he whispered. "You're just new." Days passed. Reed built a shelter from scrap and jungle wood. The creature, now named Nix, started to crawl, then walk, then climb on his arm like a baby monkey, but the tribe kept watching. The warrior princess came again. Her name was Xeno. She stood outside his shelter with 2 guards. "It's still alive?" she asked. Reed nodded. "Stronger every day." She frowned. "It should have died. That thing is wrong. It has no mother, no kind. We don't know what it is." Reed shrugged. "Doesn't mean it's evil." Xenia stepped closer. Nix peeked out from under Reed's coat. Its eyes met hers. She gasped. It looks into the soul," Reed smiled. "Maybe it sees more than we do." Xenia turned and left without another word. That night, something strange happened. Reed was asleep. Nix curled beside him when he felt a sudden heat. He woke up and saw Nix glowing. Its whole body shimmered like molten silver. It made a sound like a whisper, but in no language Reed knew. Then, for the first time, Nix spoke. One word. Not clear. Not loud. But real. Reed. Reed sat up straight, heart pounding. You said my name? Nix blinked slowly and curled up again. Reed didn't sleep for the rest of the night. Something was happening. The tiny thing he saved was no ordinary creature. It was learning. Fast. And soon everyone would know what it really was. The creature, Grow's fangs and loyalty. It had been only 2 weeks since Reed found the strange egg, but what lived inside it now looked like nothing the tribe or even Reed had ever seen before. Nix was changing fast. The small, weak creature that once needed help to stand could now run across the jungle floor. Its skin had darkened into smooth, silver-blue scales. It had tiny fangs now, sharp as needles, and a tail that helped it leap across rocks. But the most shocking thing was its eyes. Silver, glowing softly, like 2 moons trapped in a storm. The tribe still kept their distance. They whispered when Reed passed. Some threw stones near his camp, not at him, but close enough to make a point. They feared what he was raising. But Reed didn't care. Nix followed him everywhere. When Reed climbed cliffs to gather food, Nix climbed with him. When he hunted, Nix watched silently, learning. When Reed was sick with fever one night, Nix stayed by his side, making strange noises as if trying to heal him. One morning, as Reed walked through thick vines, he heard a scream. A child. Without thinking, he ran toward the sound. Nix right behind him. He found a young alien girl from the tribe lying on the ground, her leg caught in a jagged root. But worse, 2 jungle stalkers, large panther-like beasts with glowing red eyes, circled her. Reed reached for his blaster, too far, but Nix jumped first, a blur of motion, a flash of fangs. The first stalker didn't even get a chance to growl. Nix bit into its neck and didn't let go. The second tried to attack, but Nix rolled under it, sliced it with its claws, and let out a shriek so sharp that even Reed winced. The beasts ran. 1 dead, 1 bleeding. Reed rushed to the girl. She was in shock, but alive. She looked at Nix, now covered in blood, and whispered, That's not a pet." Later that evening, Xenia came again. She didn't speak right away. She just stared at the broken body of the stalker beast outside Reed's shelter. "You didn't kill that?" she said slowly. Reed shook his head. "Nix did." Xenia stepped forward. "It protected one of our children?" Reed nodded. "Yes, without hesitation." Xenia narrowed her eyes. "Why would it do that?" Reed looked at Nix, who sat near the fire, licking its claw. "Because I would have done the same," he said. The alien princess was quiet for a long time. Then she said something that surprised Reed. "In our legends," she said, "there were sky beasts, ancient creatures that could bond with the soul of another. But those stories are myths." "Maybe myths come from truth," Reed said. Xenia stared at Nix again. "Or maybe you've made something new." That night, as the stars burned above, Reed sat beside Nix and fed it dried meat. It chewed carefully, then rested its head on his knee. Reed looked up at the alien sky and wondered what he had really found in that egg. A creature? A protector? Or something much more? But deep inside the jungle, something else had started to watch. Them too. A predator far older and much more dangerous than any beast on the planet. And it was curious. Because Nix had just made its first kill. The first time it disobeyed. The jungle was silent. Too silent. Reed woke with a strange feeling in his chest. The sun had barely risen, the fire was out, and Nix was gone. He sat up fast. "Nix?" he called out. No answer, not even a chirp. Panic hit him like a storm. Nix never left camp without Reed, not once. He checked the footprints around the shelter. Small clawed tracks led away, deep into the jungle, fresh, fast, determined. Reed grabbed his blaster, water, and a flare. Then he ran. The trees were thick. Vines hung like snakes. Every branch looked like it might be hiding something. The sounds around him were louder now. Buzzing insects, distant growls, and something else. A strange humming. After an hour of tracking, he found blood on a leaf. Not Nix's. It was dark green, alien. Then came the screaming, high-pitched, desperate. Reed sprinted toward the sound, sliding down a hill of wet stones. At the bottom, he stopped and stared. A group of small, alien children were cornered by a massive jungle beast. 8 legs, razor-sharp mandibles, eyes that reflected red like fire. They were trapped, and Nix was already there, but not waiting, fighting. The young predator he raised had jumped on the giant insect's back, claws slashing wildly. The beast roared and threw itself against a tree, trying to shake Nix off. Reed raised his blaster but couldn't get a clear shot. Suddenly, one of the beast's legs struck Nix and flung him against a rock. Reed's heart stopped. Nix didn't move for a second. Then, slowly, he rose. Something had changed. His silver-blue scales shifted darker. His back arched, and strange tendrils of light ran across his body. Nix let out a sound Reed had never heard before. A deep, pulsing war cry. With one leap, he landed back on the beast, this time going for the eyes. The creature screamed and collapsed, twitching and hissing. It was dead. Reed rushed forward, kneeling beside Nix. "Are you hurt?" Nix looked up, breathing hard, one eye swollen, a deep cut on his side. But he still purred softly and nuzzled against Reed's hand. Then one of the alien children stepped forward. It saved us," she said. Another added, "It protected us like one of the tribe." By sunset, the news had reached the village. Xeno stood at the edge of the gathering, arms crossed, face unreadable. "You told it to stay at camp, didn't you?" she asked Reed. "Yes," he said. "But it disobeyed." Reed looked down at Nix, now asleep with bandages on its side. "Maybe he followed something deeper than orders," Reed said. "Maybe he followed his heart." Xeno looked at him sharply. "Creatures that act on their own are dangerous." Reed stepped closer. "Or maybe they're exactly what this world needs." The tribal elders were angry. One shouted, "It left without permission. It risked revealing itself. The jungle saw it fight. The legends will awaken." But the parents of the rescued children stood in front of them. "If that beast hadn't been there," one mother said, "my child would be dead." The elders fell silent. That night, Reed sat beside the fire, staring into the flames. Nix was changing, stronger, smarter, braver. But something else was clear now. He wasn't just obeying commands, he was choosing who to protect. And the next time he chose, it might not be the humans or the tribe. It might be something bigger, something wild, something no one could control. In the dark, far from camp, golden eyes blinked in the shadows, watching, waiting, measuring the beast, and the man who raised it. The tribe wants it dead. The celebration didn't last long, even after Nix saved the children, even after the tribal guards saw it kill a jungle beast twice its size. Fear spread like poison. The whispers began the next morning. It bleeds silver. It roared like a demon. Its eyes are not of this world. It disobeyed. What will it do next? Reed noticed it first when he walked into the village for supplies. Conversation stopped. Eyes avoided his. Some mothers pulled their children close. Then came the stone. It flew past his head and hit the ground near Nix. Nix growled, but Reed calmed him with a hand. A villager shouted, "Keep that thing away from our homes." Another yelled, "It's not a protector. It's a curse in flesh." Xeno appeared, shouting over them, "Enough!" The crowd slowly backed away, but the fear remained. Later that night, in the tribal council hut, the elders sat in a half-circle. Faces painted, eyes serious. Reed and Xeno stood before them. "The creature has grown too strong," one elder said. "It disobeys, it kills. Soon it will not listen to even him." Reed tried to explain. "It only attacks when there is danger. It understands." Another elder interrupted. "You raised it from an egg you were warned not to touch. Now it walks among us like a silent predator. What if next time it turns on us? Then train your warriors to be better than it, Reed snapped. Gasps echoed. One elder stood. We do not take orders from Skywalkers. Reed looked at Xenia. You've seen it. You know it's not evil. She was silent for a moment. Then she said, It is not evil, but it is wild. And our laws fear what cannot be controlled. That night, as the fire cracked outside his shelter, Reed packed his gear. He wasn't waiting for them to decide Nyx's fate. They would come. He could feel it. Xenia arrived quietly, cloaked in shadows. They voted, she said. At sunrise, they will hunt it. Reed's heart dropped. They're making a mistake, she nodded. I know. Help me leave, he said. I already have, she whispered, handing him a map drawn on hide. There's a path through the valley. Take it before dawn. Don't let them find you. Nyx walked to her slowly, sniffing the air. Then softly, it touched its head to hers. She closed her eyes. It understands. Reed picked up his bag. Let's go, boy. He and Nyx slipped into the trees before the first sun touched the sky, but they didn't get far. By midday, the hunting horns echoed behind them. Tribal scouts on hover beasts. Armed, fast, relentless. Reed and Nyx ran, through waterfalls, over cliffs, under roots twisted like claws, but the tribe was closing in. As they reached a narrow pass, Reed slipped and almost fell into a ravine. Nyx caught his arm in time, but behind them, warriors appeared with spears and fire. Stop! Reed shouted. It's not a threat. The lead hunter threw a torch at Nyx. It hit. Nyx screamed in pain, his silver skin catching a brief flame. Reed turned, raising his blaster, but froze. Nyx was glowing, but not from fire, from rage. The glow spread across his whole body like lava veins. His shape grew, fangs extended, eyes burned with silver fury. He let out a howl, not of pain but of warning. The warriors stepped back. Even the jungle itself went quiet. No one moved. And then, Nyx did something no one expected. He walked past Reed, past the fire, and knelt. He surrendered. Reed stood stunned. So did the warriors. The lead hunter whispered, It could have killed us all. One warrior dropped his spear. But someone else was watching. High above, in a tree covered in red leaves, Xenia stared down silently. She held her breath. What kind of creature kneels when it holds the power to destroy? And more importantly, what had this human really raised? A blood pact with the princess. Smoke rose from the jungle. The fire wasn't from battle. It was from fear. The tribe had seen Nyx's power. They had seen him kneel, yet still the elders ordered Reed and his creature exiled, calling them a danger to the balance of the land. But nature had other plans. 2 nights after the exile, the skies opened. A strange screech echoed over the trees. The stars vanished. Behind smoke, the sky ravager beasts had returned. No one had seen one in a generation. Great winged monsters that burned villages, poisoned rivers, and swallowed prey whole. And now 3 of them came flying from the northern mountains. Reed, hiding with Nyx in a cave far from the village, saw fire on the horizon. Something's wrong, he said. Nyx raised his head and growled, low and angry. His tail curled with tension. His silver eyes shimmered like glass. Then, in the dark, came a sound he never expected. Footsteps. Xenia, out of breath, covered in ash, stumbled into the cave. Reed rushed to her. What happened? She looked at him with hollow eyes. The beasts. They came from the sky. We tried to fight, but my father is dead. Reed froze. The chieftain? She nodded. He died defending the sacred tree. Now the people have no leader. They're broken. And the beasts? They'll return by nightfall. Reed looked toward the glowing horizon, then at Nyx. Xenia stepped closer. Her voice shook. I came, not to order, but to ask. Reed narrowed his eyes. Ask what? She looked at Nyx. To fight for us. To save what is left. Reed didn't answer. He knelt beside Nyx. Do you want this, boy? Even after how they treated you? Nyx didn't move for a moment. Then slowly he stood and walked towards Anaya. He stopped at her feet. She lowered her head and Nyx pressed his forehead to hers. She gasped. He accepts. Reed stepped forward. That's not enough. If he fights, he needs protection too. Real protection. Not just words. Xenia pulled out a small blade. Her hand shook slightly. She sliced her palm. Then she offered the knife to Reed. I, Princess Xenia, daughter of the fallen chief, offer my blood in pact. To your beast. To you. Reed accepted the knife. Cut his own hand. Pressed it to hers. The flames from the cave fire danced between their shadows as the blood mixed, and Nyx let out a quiet, echoing howl, one that echoed into the stars. The pact was sealed. By sunrise they returned to the tribe. Many gasped. Some fell to their knees. The elders tried to protest, but Xenia raised her father's crown. I am your ruler now, and I have brought back the one you cast out, because he is the only one who can save us. Reed stepped forward, holding his blaster. Nyx stood beside him, taller now, stronger, with light flowing under his skin like fire under ice. The people stared. Fear turned into awe. One child whispered, "He's the jungle's guardian." Xenia turned to Reed. We ride at dusk? Reed nodded. But before the battle, she pulled him aside and said something he didn't expect. If we survive, if Nyx survives, this bond we made between you and me, it will never be broken. Reed looked into her eyes and said nothing, because far above, circling in the red sky, the beasts had already returned. The final hunt had begun. The human, the beast, and the crown. The ground shook before the beasts even landed. Wings as wide as houses cut through the smoke-filled sky. Their screeches shattered glass and turned brave warriors into trembling shadows. The Sky Ravager beasts had returned, not to hunt but to finish what they started. But this time the tribe was not alone. They had Nyx, and Nyx had chosen his war. Reed stood beside him at the edge of the high cliff, overlooking the burning forest. Xenia was beside them, wearing her father's war armor. Her hands gripped a spear carved from the bones of an elder beast. Below, the village was ready, or as ready as they could be. Children hidden in caves, fires lit to signal the others, warriors forming ranks, but many stared not at the sky but at the silver-scaled creature at Reed's side, the one that had once fit in the palm of his hand. Now, it stood 10 feet tall, glowing veins running across its armored body, wings forming, from behind its shoulders half-grown like they were waiting for this very moment. Xenia took a deep breath. They still fear him. Reed glanced down at the warriors. Let them. Fear can become faith. Suddenly, a roar thundered across the valley. One of the Ravagers dove straight toward the village. Reed didn't speak. Nyx leaped off the cliff. Theo. Wind howled as he shot through the air, slamming into the side of the beast mid-flight. The sky lit up with flashes of silver and fire as they crashed into the jungle canopy below. The trees shook. Flames burst. Then came silence. And then another roar. But this one was not from the Ravager. It was from Nyx. He rose from the burning jungle with blood on his claws and fire in his eyes. The tribe watching from above erupted in stunned cries. He brought it down. He's not a beast. He's a blessing. He is one of us. But it wasn't over. A second Ravager swooped in from behind. Xenia saw it first. Reed! Reed turned just in time to push her out of the way as the creature's tail smashed into the ground, nearly crushing them both. Reed rolled, grabbed his blaster, and fired, but the energy bolt only scratched its hide. Xenia stood, blood dripping from her forehead. We can't kill it, not without him. She grabbed the royal war horn and blew into it. The deep note echoed across the land. Nyx heard it. From the other side of the jungle, his head snapped toward the sound. He ran, faster than before, faster than possible. And when the second ravager turned to strike again, Nyx arrived. He leaped, sank his claws into its throat and dragged it down. It thrashed, screamed, tried to fly, but Nyx's tail wrapped around its wing. With one final roar, he crushed it into the earth. The fight was over. Both beasts lay broken, and Nyx stood tall over them, eyes blazing, body glowing, chest rising with every breath. The tribe fell silent. Even the wind stopped moving. Reed walked to Nyx's side, placing a hand on his shoulder. "You did it, boy," he whispered. Xenia approached slowly, carefully, like approaching a god. She held out her father's crown. Today this kingdom was saved, not by bloodline, not by tradition, but by bond. She looked at Nyx, then at Reed. "Today I crown you both, not as rulers, but as saviors." Reed shook his head. "I didn't do this alone." "No," she said. "But without your heart, this creature would have never known mercy. And without your mercy, we'd all be dead." Then, in front of her people, Xenia knelt, not as a princess, but as someone who had just witnessed a legend. And behind her, one by one, the warriors followed. They bowed. To the human, to the beast, to the bond. She had no choice. But to join him, the jungle had gone quiet. Not from fear, but from respect. The ground where the Sky Ravager beasts had fallen had become sacred. No birds sang there. No animals dared to walk near it. It was the place where a myth had risen, and a kingdom had been saved. For the next few days, the tribe began to rebuild. The smoke cleared, the wounded healed, and for the first time in many years the people laughed without fear of the sky. But not Reed. He sat at the edge of the village, staring at the jungle, Nyx resting beside him like a silent guardian. The creature was even larger now, his back lined with soft glowing ridges, wings nearly fully formed. Reed scratched behind Nyx's ear. "You're not mine anymore, are you?" Nyx didn't respond, but Reed felt something pass between them. A warmth, a goodbye. That night, Xenia found him packing. "You're leaving," she said quietly. Reed nodded. "The tribe doesn't need me anymore. They have you. And him." She looked down. "You think that's what this is about?" Reed paused. "Isn't it?" She stepped forward. "The elders may still speak in fear. Some warriors still flinch when Nyx walks by. But the people, they follow your way now. And not just because of the beast." Reed looked at her. "Then what?" "Because you changed us," she said. "You showed us what kindness could create, what loyalty could become. You turned a fragile egg into a force that bent fate." Reed was silent. Then Xenia whispered, "So don't walk away, not without letting me choose too." He frowned. "Choose what?" She took a deep breath, and for the first time, the proud warrior princess let her voice tremble. "I am ruler now. I command armies. I wear the crown. But what I want is to walk beside the man who raised the thing that saved us all." Reed turned, stunned. "You would leave your people?" She shook her head. "No, I would follow you, to lead them in a new way." Reed looked at Nyx. The great creature opened one eye, blinked slowly, and purred, as if approving. By dawn, the tribe gathered for one final ritual. The princess stood not in armor, but in a white robe. The human stood beside her, weapons down, heart open. Nyx, fully grown, circled them once before lifting into the air with a flap of mighty wings, his first flight. The people cheered, and when Nyx landed again, gentle, proud, noble, they knew. Their future was no longer ruled by fear, but by bond, by trust, by a human, and a princess who had no choice but to follow her heart. Final scene. As the twin suns rose, Reed and Xenia rode together on Nyx's back, soaring above the jungle, wind in their hair. From above, the world looked small, but their journey, it was just beginning.